Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe on this Tuesday. We are only one day away from Chelsea's Champions League Semi-Final second leg against Real Madrid. Probably the biggest game this club has had in 7 years. I know some people were going back to 2012, but I think you have to say Atletico Madrid, the second leg, even though, of course, we did lose it. I don't know if it's because we're trying to forget that second leg against another Madrid side, but it's going to be absolutely huge. I'm going to have my preview out later today, breaking down the tactics, breaking down what I think Tuchel will go for in tomorrow's huge game. The nerves, I think, have already started. I don't know about you, but if the nerves have started for you, hit that like button because it helps new people find the channel. And if you want more Chelsea content on this massive week, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel. I also want to say a massive thank you to Lucid FC for sponsoring Let's Talk Chelsea in 2021. Great guys, Chelsea fans, a real authentic sponsor, and there's a discount code you guys can use as my viewers. Using the discount code CFC at checkout, that gives you $15 off or a £12 discount. You can get this Film Club sweatshirt that I love wearing as a big film fan myself. So definitely go and check out Lucid FC in the description box below. I know tomorrow night they'll be as nervous as all of us watching Chelsea because they are massive Chelsea fans as well. So support the guys that support this channel. Check out Lucid FC in the description box below. And thank you, Lucid, for sponsoring Let's Talk Chelsea in 2021. But let's get into some transfer noise and rumours. Bild reporting that Chelsea are back in the race for Jadon Sancho. This was reported recently. As you can see here, Borussia Dortmund are reportedly willing to cash in on Jadon Sancho this summer in order to bring in some much needed funds. According to Bild via Sport Witness and ESPN, that right price is 100 million euros, with Chelsea set to rival Liverpool in the race to the young superstar's signature. Sancho has made 34 appearances for Dortmund in all competitions this season and has scored 12 goals by providing 18 assists. His current contract runs through to 2023. I feel like a little bit of nostalgia speaking about Jadon Sancho to Chelsea because he was a massive sort of, I don't know, target. I don't know how serious it ever got last year, but in terms of us speaking about Sancho as one of those big sort of dream signings last summer. And then, of course, Kai Havertz happened. And I'll get to Kai Havertz, but just, I don't think we need Jadon Sancho. That is not where this amount of money should be going into. I think that Man United will be signing Jadon Sancho this summer because they need someone on the right of their attack. I think that's one of the key positions they'll be looking to strengthen. And Chelsea don't need to strengthen that area. You know, you think about the big areas Chelsea and this squad need to improve on. We need a goal scorer, so a striker probably, especially if Giroud and Tammy are leaving this summer. We need, for me, a central defensive midfielder. And even though I don't think we need one, there's constant rumours to a centre-back. A winger is just not required in this squad. I mean, we look through it. Christian Pulisic, Kai Havertz, of course, can play on the right. And that's mainly based on the formation Tuchel is using at the moment. But you've got Kai Havertz. We know Hakim Ziyech is a right winger. Callum Hudson-Odoi. And both Werner and Mount in the current formation play wide too. So I just don't know where and why you'd bring in Sancho at this point. Another point I want to make is that, for me, Christian Pulisic, who of course left Borussia Dortmund, was falling behind Jadon Sancho in the pecking order there. With his form at the moment, it's a big question, of course, around his fitness, but we've seen the quality of Pulisic once again in recent weeks. That's one of those big guys I think we can rely on in the future. You know, he's still such a young player developing in terms of his goal-scoring ability, and I think he can still be a massive player for Chelsea. Kai Havertz, we know Mason Mount. You know, there are so many players in that attacking area, and if we are to move to some sort of variation on a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2-2 potentially next season, you know, there's only really two sort of wide positions you'd expect. You'd think Werner could potentially be one of the strikers, and then you've got two players. One of those is probably going to be Mason Mount because Mason Mount will constantly find his way into this team, and there's a lot of players competing for that other position as there is currently this season. You know, we go into every game at the moment sort of deciphering who that front three is going to be, and if we bring in a striker on top of that, in the summer, then where else, there's going to be no space for someone like Jadon Sancho. So I personally think he'll be going to Man United. It feels like that's a deal that naturally will happen. Very, very good player. I mean, he just is. I mean, his influence for Borussia Dortmund, both him and Haaland are the big targets this summer. Of course, Dortmund have come out recently and said that Haaland is not for sale and won't be leaving. Not entirely sure about that. I'm pretty sure that's just a negotiating position at the moment. We'll have to see over the summer, but this is not where Chelsea should be focusing, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys disagree. Maybe you just think Sancho is just one of those talents that Chelsea, if they can get him, should get him. But for me, I think there's other talents we should be prioritising at the moment, other positions in the transfer market we should be prioritising. Please let me know your opinions on Jadon Sancho, the player himself, Chelsea's rumoured involvement in a race to sign him this summer. Let me know in the comments below. And next, I just want to touch on two things surrounding, of course, tomorrow's game. It's just so big for Chelsea potentially getting to their third Champions League final. Thomas Tuchel spoke about Sergio Ramos in I think it was his post-match press conference that got released yesterday, some quotes surrounding Ramos and how he's going to try and counteract Sergio Ramos in the game because he's back now. He's confirmed to be in the Real Madrid squad. I mean, none of us are surprised about that. I think we all knew he was going to make this game. It's one of the biggest games in Real Madrid's recent history as well. They want to get to a Champions League final, and he's a big game player. He really is, and he's that one player for me that, especially at corners, but just all round, he takes penalties for them. He's that player that can score massive goals and I think can be a real influence tomorrow night and also against our attackers. So this is what Tuchel had to say about maybe trying to deal with Sergio Ramos and his influence for this Real Madrid side.
Made my mind up yet. Let's wait if he is fit. When he's fit is another challenge because he is the leader of the group and he is the guy to give a lot of solutions to any questions that we will hopefully ask them. Yeah, let's wait and see who is in good shape, who is in good form, and what type and what shape we play and where we try to hurt them. I'm not so sure if they play again with 5 or back to 4. There are many questions, but we need the answers. Not now is enough if we have them on Wednesday.
Real Madrid will be without Rafael Varane, who's been linked to Chelsea recently, and that has now been confirmed on Real Madrid's website. A big miss. Ramos is an extraordinary player. He really is, in terms of that influence, in terms of that leadership. He is, one of the old guard in this Real Madrid side. It does feel like it's kind of transitioning or needs to transition soon. One of those older players, but is one of those players that, has so much pedigree, has been one of the best centre-backs we've seen in the modern era of football. He really has. I know there are antics to his game that people don't like, but there's a reason. And it's a bit like for me with Benzema, those two players, the longevity of them at the highest level of the game, I just think is so impressive. And it's that thing of experience that may prove the telling thing tomorrow night. Unfortunately for Chelsea are still quite a young side. We do have experienced players like Thiago Silva. You think about Thiago Silva, Sergio Ramos, two of the best centre-backs we've seen in European football, but Dave as well. But really, you look at the bulk of Chelsea's side, very inexperienced at this level of the Champions League semi-final, and you feel like there is room for this team to develop. I mean, for Real Madrid, the amount of titles that Sergio Ramos has won, also at international level too, captaining his country. But I just think that tomorrow he's going to be one of those danger men for me, especially at corners. Chelsea didn't really deal with set pieces that well. That's where Real Madrid, that's where Real Madrid's equaliser came from, and actually the closest they got to scoring a second came from a corner as well. So that's something Chelsea have to deal with tactically. Let me know your opinions. Are you worried about Sergio Ramos returning from injury? What do you think Chelsea are going to do tactically tomorrow? Let me know in the comments below. Finally here, just want to reference this piece and shout out this piece that I definitely suggest you go and read to get you in the mood for tomorrow night in the significance of what is such a huge night for Chelsea Football Club. N'Golo Kante, Matt Law wrote this piece in a Telegraph. Champions League success would confirm Chelsea's humble superstar N'Golo Kante as a modern great. It goes through the story of N'Golo Kante at Chelsea, his career so far at Stamford Bridge, joining under Antonio Conte in 2016 from Leicester, and what he's done. And yeah, I mean, there are so many players I think within this squad. I mean, winning a Champions League for me is the pinnacle. It really is. We think back to 2012, how important that was for Chelsea as a club. For some of these players, I think to the likes of, say, Jorginho, what an incredible story that could be personally for him with all the struggles he's had at Chelsea. Azpilicueta as being such a long servant, a great servant of Chelsea as the captain, potentially lifting the European Cup. But Kante is one of those players. truly world-class player in this team. I think, Mason Mount has been extraordinary, but I want to reserve world-class for players who do it over a long period of time, and that is N'Golo Kante. He has transformed the midfield once again this season. We saw his performance level last week, and we're going to need another N'Golo Kante masterclass tomorrow night if Chelsea want to get to another Champions League final. So go and read the piece. Let me know your opinions about N'Golo Kante and just your general thoughts about tomorrow night regarding Chelsea. Let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this episode of Let's Talk Chelsea. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter at SonOfChelsea. I'll be back later for my Real Madrid preview. The nerves are starting, aren't they? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.